Gaweni School is the first of its kind located on the Six Nations of the Grand River Territory. Established in 1986, its aim is to help preserve the traditions and cultures of the Haudenosaunee. With language revitalization as a priority in many Indigenous communities, Gaweni is preparing future generations in an immersion setting that is rooted in Haudenosaunee culture.
Downgetting ni gaso, ganyak de ni waga shout de, onunda waka ni wakwen out de. Ondai honyani tanho gawanio onda trinity tage ase ge nigai hawis gadoge. He ga ke hawak soa. Doni oni se ona agadewaya sne gayokono owena. We were the first graduating class from Gaweni. So I started when the program started. I teach there now and I've been there for about 5 years. In the mornings we come in, we gather together in our longhouse area, and one side we always shared responsibility, so it's almost like the shared responsibility within a longhouse also, like that's our focus, right, is culture, tradition, language. That's our main focuses and everything that goes along with it. It's important that the kids know that even in the longhouse, there's always a side, there's two sides in the longhouse, and they share the responsibility of the duties and taking care of each other. Honestly, I don't know where I would be if I didn't have it. You know, if I didn't have the language. I was brought up in a home where it was very traditional, and it was always pushed that's you need to learn your language, or you know, and carry on the ceremonies for 7 generations. We always have to think in that 7 generations, because we don't know what we have to leave something for them, so we have to continue looking forward to that, you know, like what's going to be left here for them. So I was always taught that growing up, and going to Gaweni, it was kept us on track. Like that's what I noticed, a lot of us, you know, so we didn't fall into the society and the hurdles that are out there for students, or for youth, right? Like a lot of the things that we see in the community, suicides and you know, like alcoholism and all of that stuff. It kind of helped. What I see is it helped some of us students and myself, you know, to not follow, to understand that we have a path that we need to follow, and that we have a duty here and a responsibility, and we always have to give thanks for what we have.
We do the mock ceremonies in here. That fire there would be like they would do the stirring ashes, so they just pretend to stir the ashes. And then they would go to the gnosis to help them to actually do the ceremony. They practice social songs. You'll hear a lot of social songs being sung here every day. The people that come out of this program, most of them, they are the speakers now. They're the main speakers. They are the main knowledge holders, and they're in the schools. They're at the OLD program. I can see them, and they're involved with language everywhere.
I know in the other schools, they have to follow a certain curriculum as opposed to us at Gaweni. We're able to we still use it as a guideline, but we're able to implement culture, language, and how we present it to the kids. So we're not limited to certain ways and certain topics that we have to talk about. We can expand into traditional aspect for science or something, and still cover the expectation that's required for the students.
Where I see Gaweni at in 10 years from now would be in a brand new school with everybody who works within the school to have a language background of any kind of language, and for zero English to be spoken within the school, possibly other languages maybe joining the school, our school working with the other language programs closely, where we go and they'll come and visit, or we'll go someplace. A lot of stuff outside, where they're really involved in the school, and you can walk down the hallways and just randomly walk in classes and see them in the community, and they're speaking without having to be prompted, and their parents learning as well.
Well, one of the things that I think is a success is that we have our students that have returned to the school to teach, to continue the program and the efforts. That to me is a success. We were one of the initial families to begin the school as First Language Academy.
It was a different time back then with the parents that were involved with the program back then. There was a lot of groundwork that was put in place by them, a lot of work that took place, a lot of meetings. I remember being hauled along as a kid to all these different meetings and meeting what would become my fellow students for that first class. And the sense of family and environment that we had within the program at that time was incredible. It was like, it really opened up my eyes to what could be accomplished if a group of people, like-minded individuals, came together to try and push something forward. And what they were able to do with the program, despite all of the different difficulties that they ran into through all those years that I went to the program, they still kept it together, still kept us together, and allowed for some amazing experiences that allowed me as an adult to go into do the things that I've done with my career. So growing up in that program with my fellow classmates, from time to time we would come across individuals that were our age and were proud of being Native, but they didn't know what to be proud of. And with Gaweni, that was one of the biggest things that it was able to provide to me, was that it was one thing to be Native and be proud, but it's another thing to be Native and know what to be proud of. During those difficult times and looking back on the traditional teachings that we were taught and understanding that there are other avenues and how to help each other, and that's what helped me get through those difficult times. So you want to think about it from little bumps in the road of like I broke up with my girlfriend and I'm bummed out and I'm depressed, or all the way up to I've seen a really horrible situation unfold in front of me and there's nothing that I could do to change it, and I did everything I could to help. So Gaweni kind of laid the foundation for that, for me to understand that we are going to be continuously building on those experiences that we have throughout our lives, but during those experiences we need to know and understand that we're never alone, and we always have people there to help us if we want that help. The caliber of student that they're outputting into the world is a student that has a better understanding of who they are. They have the confidence and knowledge of knowing what their tradition and cultures are, which in turn allows them to take on a world with a more dealing with challenging roles more easily, and being able to adapt with their surroundings and different cultures that they come into contact with.
The building we're in now, we've been in, it was supposed to be a temporary facility, and we need a new building for the kids to be able to just have the outside, the nature around, because where we're housed right now, it's not ours, it's a parking lot.
So we have like semi trucks that come through here. Big semi trucks that are unloading. They come this way. And this is where our entrance and exit is. So if we're doing recesses. We come out this way. Sometimes there's big semi trucks or bulldozers, different kind of things that are coming through here.
Gawisa niyo de ni yung yats. Wagin yakto. Ta no kanyang kehaga niyo ko honjora. Kelly honyos ne waskadano digini jikahiaro ne kanyang kehaga. Wakademo yosta ne Gaweni jinane ikek sadaya. Taga nua ne as tawasta wisk niyo salagi ona kademo yosta eto ne Gaweni. I think it was like a family kind of dynamics. My parents helped to support the school when it first got going. My brothers were first-year students, so my mom and dad, well, mostly my mom, had to be really involved with the program. Like she was the janitor, the bus driver, wrangled everybody up. They were always at meetings every single night, it seemed like. We had our own little community of people that we stayed surrounded with. And I know it was the parents that really made the school. I think that it does help to produce pretty unique community members that are thoughtful, that are giving back something that was lost. And I think it's kind of like a balancer of to keep our traditions going, to keep our people intact and knowledgeable of ourselves, right? And they can do that learning the language, and they can learn, mainstream education as well. And we're incorporating that, and it's important that that our program is very successful.
Our kids at Gaweni are working very hard. I'm sorry. They just make me so proud. Like even my own kids. Sorry. Because where you're going to see them at their hardest and their most concentration and everything that we've taught them, where you're going to really see it is when you're within that longhouse.
Good.
Sorry.
If you have that within you to be seeking an identity or that knowledge of your culture yourself, there's no better place for it to begin. Because you can begin with your children. Learn your Diggini Asagayeli Wiskino, you can learn your Onegontala, Ohunde, you can learn the colors at that level, because that's where it's got to start. Unfortunately, we don't have a language community to learn from. Many of the elders who have the language are gone now, and it's up to us to revitalize it. And that goes right into the home. It's not just in the school. I'm hoping that in the next decade or so, if I'm still around, I'll be able to hear Mohawk spoken in the community more.
Our goal here is to make sure that our students are carrying the language, because for the future, our whole community will rely on them to carry on the ceremonies in our longhouses.